Hello everyone, my name is Andy and today I will make a homework walkthrough video for section 5.4, the net change theorem that the another like the I think it's kind of extension of FTOC, but it's another integration technique that I will learn in Math 2025 the course. I make some homework video just save everybody's time because I know time is precious for everyone. I do not want you to spend like 10 hours on 500 problem. I hate that happened because I know you have your social life and other classes. So my purpose is to help you to do well in 2025 while enjoy college life at UW. So let's get started. So in this cases, I think don't use the use a power rule and like a radical to rewrite the function in the exponential form, then evaluate this integral. For this one, you may make a use of, but we have not learned a use of yet. Here's the trick. We have this a plus b to the squared. This can be expanded into a squared plus 2ab plus b squared, where a is a v squared, b is 8. After you expand it, I multiply this expanded expression by a 3v. You have a 3v, then evaluate the integral. This can be done in two ways, but I'm going to introduce like the more complicated way. But if you learn after 5.5, you can do with the use of everything. For number 3, just follow integral tables. Number 4 is the same thing, just rewrite those radical into exponential form, then evaluate the integral. It's the same thing, FTOC part 2. And for this one, just to rewrite the two integrals, 4 over cosine squared of x over 9 cosine x squared over cosine x to the squared. You can get 4 secant squared plus 9, and that is your integrals, just to make sure you are write them into fraction form with the trig identity. As a 1 over cosine power to the n of x, it is secant power to the n to the x. And but one thing to make sure that arc cosine, inverse cosine, it is never equal to 1 over cosine of x. They look same, but they're not the same thing. For number 6, just to evaluate this integral. Okay, and now I'm going to be talking about like the total distance traveled and total displacement. Total distance traveled, it is like a total amount of moved over a fixed time, over a fixed interval of time. And it cannot be negative or a 0, because you move the distance and just it's like a total movement. So it's like the accumulation of all the movement. So we make it as moving west, then moving left, it is negative displacement, while moving east, it is a positive displacement. So if you start with the origin, move 20 meters east, 25 meters west, and 40 meters east. What is total distance traveled? So when we talking about like a total distance traveled, we have the velocity function. We need to find where the velocity function is equal to a 0. And then we add an absolute value sign on those negative part of the velocity function to make it positive. Because on the westward 25 meters, you are still moving. So that 25 meters count toward your total distance traveled. So the total distance traveled is going to be 20 plus 25 plus 48 is 85 meters. 85 is total distance traveled because like total distance traveled actually just how much the accumulation movement you made regardless of the direction. So if you just find a VT and then set equal to a 0, then just rewrite the function. And if the part of it, if over the interval, the VT it is negative, then adding a negative sign to swap the VT function. So if we have it's like a 3t minus 5, we set it equal to a 0. At t equals to 1, at the interval from 0 to 3 over 5, it is negative. VT is negative. So we need to swap. Rewrite as in the 5 minus 3t so that the resulting definite integral produces positive answers. And now it's the total displacement is how far you're from your starting point in a fixed amount of time. So just evaluate this definite integral. So if the displacement is negative, so you're moving away or moving west from the origin or the starting point. If you have a displacement of 0, then it means you are not moving, but it's unlikely, or you made a round trip. And for positive displacement is you definitely moved, and it's a positive way and is eastward. So you're moving. You're also moving away, but just a more eastward movement. That's just all for section 5.4. So in general, the main difference between the total distance traveled and the total displacement is the total displacement can be negative. It's just advanced version of FTOC part 2. So how far you ended up with, how far you end up from the origin or the starting point. But the total distance traveled is the accumulation of the distance you moved, regardless of your direction. So if you move the 25 meters east, 85 meters west, then 120 meters east, your total distance travel should be 85 plus 25 plus 120 is going to be 230 meters is your total distance traveled. However, your total displacement is going to be 80. It's going to be 25 minus 85 plus 120. So it is 60 meters. So you're ending up with 6 meters east of the starting point, but you move 230 meters. That is the main difference between them. And thank you so much and have a great day.